There are just 5 chunks remaining and things are getting a little bit more challenging. If you're new here, this is my island of chunk and I am attempting one of the hardest Animal Crossing decorating challenges ever. On this island, I am turning each one of these squares into a brand new Animal Crossing theme. Today, I am ticking off 3 more themes, and these are some very challenging themes, and I did struggle a little bit. Don't forget to like and also subscribe if you want to see the rest of the challenge. I have also linked the previous episodes in the description below, but without further ado, let's see what themes are up next. So my first challenge today was to try my hand at Elegant Core. So this is the chunk. As you can see, I have already laid out my path and I've also got a villager home in here. For this, for Elegant Core, the whole theme, I feel like you need to be very structured and organized. So I have gone in with a plan, which is very, very unlike me. I am not normally a planner, so we'll see if this helps. Spoiler, it doesn't. But starting at the back here, we are going in with some of the castle items. I thought not only does this kind of give a little bit of an Elegant Core vibe, but it also gives me a way to clearly kind of break off this chunk from the next chunk, which is going to be behind it. So I thought we'll go in with these. I chose these colors because I wanted to go in with quite like a beige, kind of creamy kind of style of Elegant Core. Does this change later? Yes, it does. But the main reason I wanted to do it was so that I could incorporate some of the green patterns that I already have. Green Elegant Core with lots of flowers and things would be absolutely gorgeous, and lots of topiaries. So I did kind of start with that direction. I went in with lots and lots of the topiaries. Before these existed, who knew what we used in 1.0? So there it is. Some of the other items that really speak elegant to me are obviously the street lamp that I've used, also the Turkey Day garden stands. Absolutely love them. The Turkey Day garden stands are perfect for putting items on top of, so I went in with the Casablanca lilies, and the wedding furniture is also something that gives me those kind of elegant vibes, and that's why I added in the arches. And again, they were in that more kind of muted, creamy beige kind of look. And I also wanted to use statues. I feel like they are kind of a staple for Elegant Core. These are the Valiant ones. Valiant? I don't know how you say it. But I did have a bit of a conundrum with placing things on the corners here, because I feel like that's a great way to add like accents. But then I was like, do I do topiaries? Do I do the Turkey Day stands here? I did have to destroy something from the previous chunk. We're not going to talk about that. I also did try to incorporate the nuptial bell, but this is one of the areas that I struggled with. Where the nuptial bell is, I struggled with it so much. I think just because it is quite a small area, but the colors just weren't lining up for me. So I decided to add in some bushes, because bushes fix everything when you get them in the right place, though. That's very important. And I wasn't quite feeling the lilies, so I was kind of deciding at this point, maybe I need to lean into the pink a little bit, do like a pink Elegant Core, but it still wasn't working with the nuptial bell. So I did try the fountain. Wasn't necessarily loving this either, and then I tried to use the iron benches to go in as well. My problem was I wanted everything to match, but the sad point is about Animal Crossing that I should have learnt many moons ago is that nothing matches. So that was part of the problem, and that's really what was throwing me off a lot. So bye-bye park fountain, and next I decided to try like a beautiful statue, and this I was kind of feeling a little bit more, and then I was like, it looks a bit bare. I think that's also my problem. Because everything's quite structured, it's a lot harder to clutter things, which is a bit of a problem. So even if you just like add things on the corner, it then makes it hard to get around. Like you just have issues when you try and do everything really kind of structured and things. So I thought maybe if I add some of the corner pieces down and see if that helps make more of like an example of it. And then yeah, I did change up the statue kind on accident, I think, mainly, but either one works. I think any of the statues are a great option. Wasn't loving the flower planter thing, even though I probably spent a very good time looking for it because I forgot what the name of it was. But the iron benches still weren't doing it for me. The statue area wasn't doing it for me. Tried the nuptial belt again, and then I was like, maybe I just kind of stick with it and see if that kind of works. So I decided to kind of maybe go off, do some other things, let that kind of sit there and see if I like it when I go back to it. I added some doilies under my topiaries because I just thought that was cute. And then yeah, it got destroyed yet again. Added in the robust statue. I was liking this a little bit more. I like the rope partitions as well. However, there was just a few too many. And yes, I'm kind of ignoring all of the activity that was going on with the villagers at this point. I'm not going to lie, they were annoying me a little bit, which is why I jumped forward a day. That and to also try and get out of the rain. But when I moved forward, guess what? It was also raining. So I don't know whether that was like a little bit of karma there, because they were like, you're trying to escape the rain and the villagers, so you can have some more rain. And guess what? It's even darker and gloomier on this day. How fantastic is that? So I added some bits out the front of the house. As you can see, I changed the villager home to have like a more pink, elegant kind of house, which I thought worked well. The villager is curly, but because I'm not unlocking Happier in Paradise here, I was like, I'm just going to have to go based on the villager home itself, and I like this one quite a lot. It just have the pink door, so it's not too over the top pink, and I just thought it was quite nice, so we went with that. This is kind of like the millionth time that I've tried to do this area. I was struck as to what bench to do. I tried using the pergola. The pergola wasn't quite working, and I was just really struggling. So I went with a rogue choice and tried to use the ruined arch, which I think, if you squinted and pretended the vines weren't there, it would be absolute perfection. And if I'm honest, I'm not even mad at the vines, because when you move forward to a brighter day, like today, as you can see, I jumped forward again, it kind of looks better. So I'm gonna say, I think the rain was the problem. We're gonna blame the rain. And I'm just kind of sectioning off the area a little bit more. At this point, I'm just embracing the iron benches. We're just gonna live with it. And then we're gonna do some more kind of work on the gardens and the little corners here. I really wanted to do some gardens, make them look pretty, because having like a nice structured garden where it's not just all natural is obviously a great kind of go-to for Elegant Core. If you've ever toured some Elegant Core islands, some of the gardens and the way that people like put things together, layer the flowers, mix and match them, it's absolutely stunning. I wasn't feeling the Camilla bushes. I think that's the ones that we were. So I did switch them out, and I think it was the color of the green that I was having a problem with, because that wasn't very cohesive. So I'm very glad I did that. Sadly, it does mean that we have missed the pink flowers, but I think overall they do look better. I am thinking about setting this island during this time frame, so this is probably going to be pretty accurate as to what it's going to look like. And then obviously symmetry is a big thing for Elegant Core as well, so we have to make exactly what we did over on that left hand side on the right hand side. In hindsight, doing this does make Elegant Core a little bit easier. I find it quite easy to do things that are symmetrical. It means you just have to do the same thing twice, which is always a bonus, so you don't have to think as hard, because no one likes to think. Using those brain cells can be hard sometimes. So for this as well, as you can see, I'm just going in with the flowers. I never normally use roses, but I think they are a must flower for Elegant Core, particularly the white ones. I'm not necessarily a fan of some of the other colors, but maybe if you want to do Elegant Core but you want to do it in with a different color palette, because I think you could probably do it almost in any color. I have seen lots of blue Elegant Core, which I think looks stunning as well. So I'm just kind of doing a few bits and pieces here. I did remove the decorative pillars beforehand, but I decided I think I like them here, so we just added them in this section, added in a few flowers, and then also the wood partition, as I thought the pink added a nice little kind of pop of color as well, just to mix things up a bit. And I decided that we actually have a little bit more space here. We can pull these walls back a little bit more, which did help for kind of staggering things a little bit to make it a tiny bit more interesting. And the only little bits that I want to do next is just these kind of bits on the side. Everything was still looking a little bit too open, so I thought it might be fun to add in some stools on each side just to get some more kind of furniture in here, make it feel a tiny bit more cluttered. There is obviously going to still be some quite open walkways and things, which is good for navigating. But I absolutely love the covered stands. I think they are great. So on the right hand side, we're going to have a little bakery. Obviously the cream and sugar item, I think that's very elegant, so we're going to add that in. The wooden box, not so much, but the wedding cake that is on top of it definitely is. And this nice little seating area with an afternoon tea on it as well. Who doesn't love a scone and a little mini cake? And then over here, we're just going to fill it up a little bit, just add in a cruiser bike, because why not? Things were looking a little bit bland, so we just decided to add that in. And then I did add in a stroller as well, just because maybe someone, I'm thinking Bridgerton, which releases very soon, so I'm very excited for that. So we are just going to add that in. I can imagine going on for a promenade in this chunk, which also, by the way, this chunk wasn't supposed to be elegant core. I did ask my members or my followers, friends, whatever you want to call them, on stream, and everyone voted for dark academia, which sadly I forgot about. So I kind of just went in and started decorating, and then only after I'd spent like 2.5 hours decorating this chunk did I realize that it was supposed to be a different theme. So if you did vote on that poll, I sincerely apologize. But I hope you like the elegant core chunk just as much as whatever that would have been. Maybe in the future we will do a dark academia build. I wasn't quite happy with the stroller, so I did move it over. And then I'm really just dotting in some cherry blossom leaf piles just to get in some more pops of pink, just for a little bit of fun. So there we go. That's pretty much the build done. Here is your kind of little recap and some little nice scenic shots of my very elegant build. So that was elegant core. Now it's time to do something that is like the most opposite you can think of. This is trash core. So for this one, I decided I'm going to put a villager home on top of some cliffs in the back corner so that they are like the king of the trash, so to speak. I don't know why I'm calling it trash. We normally call it rubbish in the UK. No, I don't think we use garbage that much, but yeah, trash core seems to sound better than rubbish core. So yeah, here's me putting up this cliff area. You need it if you're going to do this. You just need like a good enough space that you can get the house on there and then just add in a few little bits around it. I normally like to get a tree up there. For the villager, I decided to go with Dobby, I think we decided was the right one because he's kind of granddaddish, and I just feel like he's a little bit more kind of rougher edge than some of the other villagers. And also I do like his home, even though it is a little bit kind of Japanesey feeling. I feel like it's the right kind of color palette that you want for something that is a little bit abandoned, a little bit rubbish heavy, should so to speak. Bit of an odd way to describe him, but hey. For the path, obviously I've seen this path so many times on this island, but it is so versatile. I'm gonna say this every single time. If you want to do a multi-themed island, I feel like you need to have a dirt path, and it works perfectly for this one because it's kind of worn away, it's kind of a little bit kind of dirty looking, so it fits wonderfully. This point, highly recommend if you are going to have a little villager on a hill, do it when they are inside. Decorate their house when they're inside. Don't let them kind of roam around because it makes it so much harder because they get in the way so much. And that is going to be a kind of common theme for this video. Always villagers getting in the way. It's so frustrating. And then I need to kind of rope this path down towards the top of the next chunk. So there's going to be two ways you can exit this chunk. On the right hand side, you will see that there is some cliffs there. I'm not going to even try and kind of incorporate that into this because that is my medical chunk, so it's very, very different, and it's going to be kind of like the pretty meadow is looking down on the trash. We're just giving it some lore here, which is fun. So for this point, I decided we'll just kind of do some filler here. So I thought a nice little abandoned car would look good. I don't know why I'm saying it would look good. It's an abandoned car. What's so great about that? But I just like this whole aesthetic. We've got the kind of rusted fencing, we've got the worn tires, and the kind of rusting car, which has definitely just been abandoned and left here. This on the left, if you're wondering what that chunk is, that is swamp core. So I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a natural progression. I was really worried about things flowing, but I think actually swamp into trash abandoned kind of works pretty well. So I'm quite happy with the way that worked out. Did I plan anything? Not really, but hey. So for the color choices of the flowers here, obviously I'm going to use a lot of wheat field, but we haven't used any black flowers yet, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to add some of them in. For the fencing, I went for the corrugated iron one. Again, a fence that I don't really get to use, but because of the theme we're doing, I can. And the decayed tree, I feel like that's something that a lot of people associate, oh my god, Dobie, get out the way, associate with Halloween. But for this, I was like, no, we're going to add a little bit of that in as well, just to make it feel a little bit kind of maybe something has seeped into the soil and caused a little bit of a chemical reaction and killed off some of the foliage. Is that a little bit dark? Maybe, but who knows? This is what I was talking about, is when you can get like a little bit of something up here. I didn't put a normal tree up here. I don't actually think I did leave enough space to put a normal tree. This is just me trying to push Dobby out the way, and then he just cuts in behind me. So frustrating. And then because he is a granddad, I thought maybe we'll give him somewhere to rest. So he has his own little rocking chair, and I'm not sure why I dropped some socks, but I feel like he doesn't, maybe he does, but if he's living here, he might not care about his hygiene, so who cares if we drop a sock or two. For this challenge, I didn't really want to decorate my beaches, but I feel like the secret beach is a nice way to kind of not kind of avoid those rules. But I like decorating my secret beaches. I always have. I don't know why. I feel like it's just a really nice feature on islands, and it's a nice way to make most of it. Much like the peninsula, I like decorating them as well, because you're in like a confined space, so sometimes tiny spaces are better to decorate than bigger ones. Did that stop me kind of being like, oh, should I put this here? Absolutely not. And I did change my mind a couple of times, but I think you can surprise yourself with just how much stuff you can actually fit in the secret beach, which is always a fun little thing. Decorative bottles was something I forgot about, but yes, I had to add some of them in. And then I'm going to lead the path down from the secret beach. I didn't want to talk about adding in the walls, but I did add them in. I honestly went through about 5 maybe different kind of wall types, trying to figure out what would look best, and frankly I thought you didn't want to see that. We did decide on this in the end. I did decorate this on stream, and it is the abandoned kind of castle walls, and I like those walls, I really do, because they have the mossy, the kind of decaying away plaster and things, so it looks good. And that tank is something else that I really wanted to add in, so I put it down. When I remembered what it was called, I put it down. And the iron frames, again, is another item. Never ever use it, because quite frankly, when does that ever fit in with a cottagecore island? So this is a great opportunity if you're thinking, I'm tired of doing the same old themes. Just see what you can do and play around with things and have a go with some of the different items that perhaps you have never kind of decorated with before. I think if you're playing legitimately, maybe this will be more of a kind of thing, like if you're just getting items daily from Nooks, whereas if you're on a treasure island, I just kind of gravitate towards the items that I always kind of go to. And so when you get the opportunity to kind of play around with different stuff, it is a lot of fun. And someone suggested on stream doing like a chop down tree area, so I did do that with the chainsaw. However, I then decided I wanted to put a shed in here, so this was a little bit too close, so we're gonna have to kind of move that around. Again, I probably spent about 10 minutes trying to put these retro transportation stops down just because I couldn't get them right. Hippo, please leave. I'm gonna be getting rid of him very soon. I cannot, although I'm not bothered about the villagers on this island, I know someone's going to be like in the comments, I really like Hippo, and I'm sorry if that's you, but he just scares me. There's no other way to describe it. He just scares me. So yeah. Anyway, this area is like a little kind of DIY work area for Dobby. I still can't say his name right. Ignore me. So we've got the workbench there, the shed, the tank, like a storage area, and of course a portaloo, because some old channel lore, I am a portaloo girl. I'm not really. That makes it sound really weird, but we had a song about portaloos when I did my festival island, so it's always fun to include them and kind of bring back some memories. So yeah, he doesn't have to climb up his little ladder and get all the way back into his home to kind of use the loo. He can just use the portaloo. This is where I decided to do the chop down tree area, so this is kind of the little section. I don't know how much this really does fit with the trash core, but it's kind of more like decaying kind of thing, which is also what I was after. So it's just something a bit different, I guess, and was fun to experiment with. I'm not gonna lie, by the finish of this, it does kind of look like everything is merged in together, but I don't mind that. We'll be honest. It's probably not going to be my favorite ever chunk, but it is just lots and lots of abandoned stuff. For the main bit in the section in the middle, I just wanted to do it like kind of rubbish, so we'll put more of that in later. Down here, I just wanted another area for like cars, so it can kind of fit in with the abandoned car that we put down there. But this one, I wanted it to be one that is actually kind of, maybe the villager is working on it. So we've got the gas pump, and then I did find some like tools and stuff. I also, this code by Corey June, if you've not used it before, is a nice little paint code, but I thought it kind of looks a little bit like oil if you squint. So I'm going to pretend it's oil. If you're looking at it and you're thinking that definitely looks like paint, it's not, okay? It's oil. And then this is a construction thing. I really wanted to use it and I found it. So I was like, I'm going to pop it down now. And then here are the tools that I was talking about. Just a little repair station. I don't think there is any saving that car, if I'm brutally honest, but hey, he can try. Maybe it's vintage. Maybe he thinks he's going to get some good money for it on Auto Trader or whatever it is. And then this was kind of a bit of a road choice over here because I wasn't sure what to do. So we decided, everyone was like, use some of the bigger like truck items. So we used the bulldozer, and I was like, it kind of idea of it like pushing the rubbish, so that's what it's trying to kind of convey. I don't know if it really does, but it kind of fits in with the whole trash theme. So it's like pushing the trash out of the way, making room so we can fill it with more trash. I should stop calling it trash. I feel like salvage, a salvage center, recycling. He's kind of like picked up, imagine like those sorts of people that just live out in the middle of nowhere and they've picked up all this stuff over the years, which actually isn't very good, but in their head they think it's good, so they keep hold of it, and somehow it's just entered out here. That's what it is. And then a shopping trolley, because we had a few Brits in chat, and if you are a British person, you know that shopping trolleys, somehow they do manage to escape from the supermarket, and sometimes they end up in rivers, sometimes you find them a little bit broken somewhere where kids have had a little bit of fun with them. So there is a shopping trolley that has found its way into Dobby's garden. How lovely is that? So we're kind of working more on this kind of middle section now, trying to kind of really decide what looks good. There is a little bit of like a mining area. I really don't know. This is a big hodgepodge of things, but that's like a little digging section over there. Maybe he can do some construction. Who knows? As you can tell, this is not a theme I've done before, so we are just making it up as we go along. But it is a good excuse to use lots of barrels, lots of different kinds of barrels as well. Also for this, the empty can, the like old tire and stuff like that you get from fishing, great items to drop if you do decide to do something like this, which is probably a rogue choice. Let me know if you do have anything like this on your islands, because I don't know if I see it all that much, but there is a lot of furniture, like a lot of furniture in the game that does scream rubbish. Not that I'm calling the furniture rubbish, but it just screams like it would be good in a junkyard. Junkyard! That is the word I'm looking for. Anyway, right, so we are just putting down some stuff, some paint cans. The retro TV has been abandoned. I used to own a TV like that. Embarrassing. I'm aging myself so much. But they were like so heavy. It's still wild to me that over the years they have slimmed down as much as they have. But hey, there's a reason it's in the junkyard. Very surprisingly, it still works though. So if you want to come to my junkyard and watch TV, you're very welcome to. And then this section down here, I'm just going to finish it with some dumped furniture, some like old furniture. Hello Sloppy collection. Absolutely love that collection. I know I shouldn't, and maybe I am a bit of a sloppy person at times, but I just like the aesthetic of it. Like I wish they had done like a non-sloppy version of the sloppy furniture. Just because I think it would look really cute otherwise as well. Like that little bed made up would look adorable. So maybe who knows in the future that they will do it. The windmill has just come in because I wanted to add some height, and I thought it was nice with all the rustic kind of fitting in, tying in nicely. There's another TV here. Everyone is getting rid of their TVs apparently. And then just this sloppy table again. And just get some items on it. Tangled cords, I think I've used it once before. So we are wrapping it up now. Here is what the finished product looked like. So the next theme is one that I have put off for a very long time. I actually had another chunk assigned to this, but I got scared and kind of put it off. This is Fairy Core. Please be kind. Hopefully you think it turned out as it should. So for this one, I decided to go with another pink theme, like the Elegant Core kind of chunk that we did earlier. And for this, I decided, you know what? I have a few custom designs left. I'm going to pick out a path. So I went with the Cherry Blossom path, and I already had saved some pink codes. So this is kind of why I was going more down the pink route for it. And hopefully it turns out looking more fairy core than just like pink kid core. I don't know. I'm definitely trying to get some whimsical elements in there, and I feel like the log chunks is something that you see a lot on Fairy Core Island. Maybe they could have a few more sparkles, but I feel like that does kind of tie in with that theme as well. And then the first little build I want to do, where I'm putting down all these blankets, is a little teddy bear's picnic. I don't know necessarily if this fits with Fairy Core, but I needed a good filler kind of section for this outside of the home, so I thought we can make it look kind of Fairy Core-ish and maybe tie in with the kind of pink colors that we have everywhere. So lots and lots of food items. I still love how many food items there are. What I don't love is how hard it is sometimes to get the food items on the table where you want them. I don't know why I always struggle, but I do, and just getting them to face the right way around is just so hard sometimes. Please let me know. I hope I'm not the only person that struggles with this. I'm sure we've complained about it before, but it's been 5 years and I still don't understand it fully, which is not good. And for this, I really wanted to add in a variety of different size bears as well. All of them are kind of pinkish, some are more cream. I think it depends on which ones you've got. I also mixed and matched it with some of the Dreamy toys from we got in the 2.0. I keep talking about the 2.0 like, oh my gosh, it was not that long ago. It really was. I thought that the froggy chair was also obligatory. I never use it. I never really use it when I'm decorating. So it's, again, another one of those items that's fun to kind of tie in. The mermaid chair as well. I saw it and I was like, no, I don't really use that either. So using these items is a lot of fun just to play around with, and they're all pink, so I think I am excused. Another teddy bear, because why not? I'm sorry the balloon is just kind of dreaming on by. I apologize. I did just try and stick with only a few flowers for this. So we got the white hyacinths, the pink hyacinths, and also the windflowers, which is a bit of a rogue choice because I don't normally use them either. But however, I thought that the color of the pink tied in perfectly. So we're using them today. I also wanted to use the balloons as well, just to kind of maybe make it feel a little bit more whimsical, perhaps. Hopefully it does. And the cutout standee, I don't know if people necessarily use these for fairy core. I hope they do. But the whole pink thing, I would have loved to have seen this section during cherry blossom season. However, I just can't have this whole island in cherry blossom season. It will not work for so many chunks. So I think it just makes sense just to tie in like a little bit of pink using the cutout standees. And of course, mushrooms. We need lots and lots of mushrooms. I thought that would be fun. And I'm trying to get as many like star themed things in here as well. Another thing that I don't really use. In fact, I had a huge mental blank on a couple of things on this when decorating this, because I was like, I know this stuff, I see it, but because I don't use it, I don't remember the names of it. So I did have to Google a few things. I also had to ask for help on what a telescope was, which maybe isn't to do with the theme. That was just a huge mind blank. For 10 minutes, I could not remember what a telescope was called. I was searching like stargazing sections for Animal Crossing, hoping that some of the articles would have mentioned what a telescope was. I don't think that's a good sign, slightly worrying, but hey, we got there in the end and I did remember what it was. The glowing moss stuff, I feel like that has really kind of helped fairy core, and so I wanted to use this pond little section here. I did find a fairy custom design, as you can see as well, so I'm just going to decorate all around this with lots of natural items, bushes, vines, glowing moss items. I'm not sure what the glowing moss stool is supposed to represent, but it's pink and glowing, so I thought it tied in. The Nova lights, the mum cushions, I love this. Honestly, I did try watching a video on YouTube which kind of was the ultimate guide to fairy core, and I used that as pretty much a guide for what I should be doing, and just tried to kind of use the items that they mentioned there, and I think for the most part I did. I really like the butterflies models with this whole section are definitely going to help as well. And in the beginning I wasn't going to use the giant vines, but I'm kind of glad I did now, because it does help it feel a little bit more fairy tale and whimsical, which I was after. But yeah, I just like how there's a really good mix of furniture in this little section, and I don't think I've seen it at night yet, so I would love to see what it looks like at night with the mushrooms and things like that all glowing. That butterfly may have been a rogue choice. I kind of wanted to tie in all the colors being pink, but that's the blue one. But we're just going to embrace it, because pastel colors I feel is very, very cool. You would think that I would love fairy core because it is kind of natural, and that's one of the things that I do love most about decorating in Animal Crossing is the more natural kind of builds. So it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me why I'm scared of it, but I am for whatever reason. I think in my head, maybe I had a little bit of a grand idea. I wanted to do like a fancy old pond and stuff like that when I came to think about it, but probably not the best for the size of the chunk that we have. You might be thinking, what are we doing now? And I decided that we're going to do a star fragment farm. I could have gone with gyroids. I really could have gone with gyroids, and I'm kind of kicking myself now. Why didn't I add lots of gyroids to this chunk? And I think I was going to, but for some reason I forgot about them. So maybe I'll add some gyros in later. But instead we're going to use all of the star fragments, and I'm going to mix them like I would with a mush farm. I don't think I've ever made a star fragment farm before, if I'm being really honest. But much like with like a mush farm or a pumpkin farm, I would mix up the different types. So I'm dropping some of the fragments using different colors from the different star signs, and also mixing it in with like the star clock, the nova light, just to kind of mix and match the height, because otherwise it just looks a bit boring, doesn't it? If you have all the same stuff just laid out on the floor, you want to kind of mix and match, get some like excitement going on in there. Okay, excitement might have been a little bit kind of over the top, but you know what I mean. It looks better that way. And then around the outside, I'm just going to go in. I did download this little code as well. I don't know if it's really what I was after, but it is like, it kind of is like flowers, but it also kind of looks a little bit like glittery, sparkly. So that's why I went for this one. And honestly, it probably took me about an hour to find a few codes just for this little section, which is very embarrassing. As this is a farm, I also want to kind of use some of the farm things that you normally associate. So we've got a bucket, a little shovel that is obviously in pink. So we're just giving things a little pink makeover. There is a gnome there as well, which is in some nice pastel colors just to tie that in, make it look cute. And then obviously add some flowers in around the outside, because what would this area be without more flowers? I don't know. We just need all the flowers, I think. So we have like 2 more little sections over here, like little slithers of space. So for this top corner one, I think I'm just going to add in some natural kind of things, more vines and flowers and mushrooms, definitely more mushrooms. I do wish the original mush furniture came in pink. I think that would have been a nice little touch, like just to see some of that in pink would have been cute. But I'm glad that we have the Mario stuff as well, because I think this mushroom works wonderfully for fairy core. So good. And then just a little fence to divide off the next chunk, which is behind, and you can probably tell what kind of theme that's going to be. There is a very Japanese looking house there. So spoiler for next week, which will be our final 2 themes, which is crazy. So just this little section down here, I decided that I wanted to use the crescent moon chair. To me, that is another one of like staple fairy core items. And for that, I thought the best thing to do was obviously a stargazing spot, which probably was one of the first builds I ever did on Animal Crossing. But yeah, there is the notorious telescope that I could not remember the name of. But for stargazing spots, I like to add in books and stuff, because I feel like they might have all the different constellations in, and just a fun nod to that. And then the very final thing that I wanted to do for this little section is just run around and add lots of cherry blossoms, because I just feel like that's going to be just make it a little bit more magical, because when you run through it, that's going to be fun. But here's what it looked like in the end. So there are our next 3 chunks complete. Let me know which one was your favorite in the comments. I shall see you again next week for the final 2 chunks. Very scary. I can't believe we're almost done. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.